Yo, still bills. What's the deal, man? Yo, I'm had to scrub my phone, man, so I can make this video, man. Nigga ran out of room on my phone and all that. So I'm making a quick store run, and I wanted to be able to, politic about this situation right here because I'm a little aggy about it. Let's get into it, man. I didn't watch the fight yesterday. I had no intentions on doing it. The dude, I thought it was a pointless fight, cash grab, which I'm not entirely mad at as long as you don't have obligations to fulfill as a champion. The fuck? Oh. But so I didn't watch the fight. I just thought Fury was gonna go in there and fuck this nigga off, and segue into an undisputed title match with Usyk. And I just thought it was gonna be, he was gonna go in there and just eviscerate this dude. The man was out wrong his two left feet. The hyperbole surrounding Tyson Fury is just reached epidemic proportions, and it's fucking filthy, Brody. Like Fury's a great boxer, right? I'm not saying he's an all time great, but he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. You dig? He's clearly one of the best of this era of fighters. Up in just, I never wanted to hop out the window and say he was the best of this era. I just didn't feel like he put in the necessary work to to back that claim. But he is one of the best of this era. But the hyperbole surrounding him, you dig? Oh man, rest in peace to that stuff. At his peak, he was a very elusive fighter, very fleet-footed, which was, he was an anomaly. You dig? 6'9", and I don't think he's 6'9", by the way, man. I think he's close to like 6'6", maybe 6'7", and the same with Deontay Wilder. I don't think Deontay Wilder is 6'7". I think Deontay Wilder is 6'6". Nonetheless, he's a colossal sized human being. But I just don't think they're as big as they're being put out to be. So you have a dude six. I personally think 6'6", 6'7", who's able to move gracefully on his feet. Ali like nothing like Ali in the sense of greatness and just all that, but just fluid in his movement. He was able to do that shit and do it very good, do it very well. So that snowballed into just a whole bunch of other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it just snowballed to, oh man, Titan. Just I remember after he beat Dillian White, man. I don't want to say he the greatest, but man, what other heavyweight in history could beat this dude? Now, mind you, this is off of a Dillian White fight. The same Dillian, he's the last one to knock out Dillian White. Joshua did it first. Povetkin did it second. He was the third, and it was all with the same punch. Joshua didn't get that praise that he got when he knocked out Dillian White. Neither did Povetkin. You know what I'm saying? So for Tyson Fury to go in there and knock this dude out, it was a good knockout because White was on a hot streak. He was on a hot streak. He avenged the loss to Povetkin. And, he got a few other good wins up under his belt. Even before that, before the Povetkin loss, because he was beating the shit out of Povetkin before the knockout. He was on a hot streak. So we like, all right, salute. And I don't think it was a bad win for Tyson Fury or nothing like that neither. But to sit there and say that he's the greatest because he knocked out a dude who's been knocked out twice before is just, I'm like, yo, this shit is filthy. This is filthy. This is filthy. So, you have that, and then you got the Derek Chisora win, which in all actuality, he had already beat Derek Chisora twice before. And this is a Derek Chisora who was way on the slide. And he's still getting his praises sung to him because he's beating these dudes as if Derek Chisora didn't get knocked out before he fought fucking Tyson Fury in the first place. All of this is like he got the notoriety that he got based on how he did Deontay Wilder. When in all actuality, Deontay Wilder isn't as proven as people think. Best win you can argue between Robert Helenius, and you can argue with Robert Helenius and Luis Ortiz. Those are his best wins. And I personally give him credit for the Robert Helenius win. I think it was a good win. I do. I think Luis Ortiz was a good win. But once again, with that, it was fluff because they were made to be, especially Luis Ortiz. He was made out to be this boogeyman of the division, which he wasn't. He was never that. He was never that. Especially when it's documented that you was offered, you was sent. We sent you an offer that your team rejected, and you will have people who will still ignore that. Fuck out of here. So he was never no boogeyman of the division. Fuck no. But he's definitely a quality heavyweight. At least he was at that particular time. And you can say he's a quality heavyweight now. I mean, I don't know if I'd say top 10, but he's not somebody that you can just you know. I don't think he's at gatekeeper status yet. I know, dear. But everything dealing with Tyson Fury. Oh my fucking god. Pause. No, we not gonna pause. Hold on. Anyways, like the fuck I was saying, man. I don't think Luis Ortiz is gatekeeper status as of now, but I think he's getting dangerously close. But the overall point of what it is that I'm saying was Tyson Fury has been a dude who has gotten so much praise and notoriety off of beating the Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder hasn't beaten the cream of the crop of the heavyweights. He hasn't. You dig? Andre Ward, like it would just bother me listening to these niggas, man. Like, why do y'all continuing to throw fucking roses at this nigga's feet while he's violating and disrespecting y'all niggas, man? Like y'all just, and y'all are so. Oh shit, what the fuck going on up here? Y'all are so hell bent on being, this man acknowledging y'all presence that y'all would kind of sit there and like grovel at his feet while he's disrespecting y'all. Like you gonna go out of your way to let it be, just Andre Ward consistently cuts up goddamn Anthony Joshua in favor of a Deontay Wilder. When Deontay Wilder is let it, he said the wild shit that he said about Andre Ward. You dig? I don't know what it is that they do, like why they do the shit that they do to, like just grovel at this man's feet. But that's morphed into a whole bunch of other shit, my nigga. To the point where if you beat Deontay Wilder, you're like that all of a sudden makes you an all-time great. And that's not the case because he's not an all-time great. He's not an all-time great. And because Fury went in there and beat him, that inadvertently makes him this quote unquote all time great or whatever. Who can beat Ali? Who can stay away from? Who can keep Tyson at the end of a jab? Who can goddamn Joe Lewis couldn't touch? Joe Frazier couldn't get next to. George Foreman is too slow for him. He'd be too far out of a range of a Larry Holmes jab. Ray Mercer wouldn't. Oh man, nah. Ray Mercer can't get next to him. Michael Moore couldn't get next to him. Like, come on, man. Like, this shit is ridiculous. The hyperbole that surrounds this dude. He's a big ass motherfucker. That he is, and he's a skilled ass motherfucker. But that does not make him the greatest fighter of all time, Brody. And now you fast forward to yesterday where you get dropped by a dude with no pro boxing experience. And even if you did have pro boxing experience, you do not have championship caliber pro boxing experience, which is a completely different ball game. You went in there and you got dropped, and it wasn't like it was a lucky shot out. That was a calculated left hook. I didn't watch the fight in totality. I saw highlights of it, and the shit that I saw from Francis Ngannou, I'm sitting here like, wow. And the fear in Tyson Fury's face as he's throwing those blows, I'm sitting here like, wow. You see him wincing, you see his eyes getting big, like, yo, I do not want to get hit by this dude, which is understandable. He has the biggest punch in recorded history. Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. I get that. But he has not had one professional fight. That dude, he's equivalent to coming out of the amateurs, Brody. And you go in there with this dude and look like that. What's dope about shit like this happening is when people kind of start feeling their own hype, and it happens all the time, like with athletes, they'll just pass in the cemetery. When athletes start feeling themselves, they in the immediate aftermath of them feeling themselves start to experience go through a humbling experience. When the Golden State Warriors was talking about, man, we had to beat the 93 the 73-9 Bulls. Oh yeah, we had to beat them. We had to beat them. We had to beat them. All right, bet. LeBron James has a historical moment on you where he comes back from a 3-1 deficit and beats you. This shit just happens like that sometimes. That's primarily what I saw. You dig? LeBron James coming into prominence, and they're just overlooking. Oh man, we got this in the bag. The Dallas, the Mavs, they mocking Dirk Nowitzki, coughing and all that shit, talking about, all right, bet I got something for you. You immediately go through a humbling experience when you start to, kind of walk around with your nose in the air. That's what happened. That is what happened. Canelo Alvarez, when he got to talking all that, yo, yeah, man, we going for undisputed at the 175 pounds, and I'm looking at Lunga Makabu 2 and 3 steps ahead. When it's like, you got a beast in front of you, Brody, that you don't even know if you're gonna get past. I never thought Canelo was gonna beat Bivol. That doesn't make me less of a Canelo fan or a supporter. I didn't think he was going to beat Bivol. Bivol has the style that naturally and historically has contradicted his own. It is what it is. That's still a bad motherfucker right there. And even with Bud, like I'm nervous with him because it's like, all right, cool. You violated Earl Spence, and now you clapping at Canelo, which is 3 divisions north of the division that you campaign at. And I'm just like, man, just come on, man. Just, I don't like the gigantic steps. You know what I'm saying? You do something monumental, and then you just jump out the window, and all of a sudden I don't like that, Brody. I don't want nobody to receive a humbling experience. Motherfucker, just stay on the on the straight and narrow. So you look at Tyson Fury, I'm the greatest heavyweight of all time. No man born of his mother can beat me, and I'm this and that and the third, and yada 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 yada. I've never won it undisputed. I'm better than you're just kicking Joshua while he's that. Just the goofiest shit in the world. Now you go in there and you arguably lost the fight to a dude who isn't even a boxer. You lost, and what's dope is now all of these fighters are looking vulnerable, man. Usyk looks a lot more vulnerable than he did ever from his last match, which I don't understand how. But no, I do understand how, but the jury is still out on whether that was a legitimate body shot or not. But he looks vulnerable. And now, Fury going in there looking the way that he looked. I'm like, yo, all the shit that y'all have talked about Anthony Joshua for years, and people are so hell bent on showing Anthony Joshua in this lesser than light. They're saying that Francis Ngannou will beat Anthony Joshua. No. Or they say, oh man, he's Francis Ngannou, he has boxing experience. Yeah, he may have been training to be a boxer before he converted to MMA, but he never had a boxing match. It's a difference between training and actually getting in there and putting into play what it is that you train for. So, but man, Francis Ngannou was just better than we thought he was. He possibly is. But I think the better question is Tyson Fury as good as you niggas thought he was? Because honestly, I've never thought that he was. Even though I think that he's a great fighter, he's not as good as y'all are projecting him to be because he hasn't proved it amongst the best. He hasn't proven it. Derek Chisora, Dillian White, Wilder. Who else we got? Who else has he been in there with? That made you go, yo, Klitschko. Got to give him, kudos on Klitschko. Got to give him kudos on Klitschko. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. He hasn't been in there with the cream of the crop like that outside of Klitschko. He has not been in there with the cream of the crop. Cream of the crop. He hasn't been in there with all the top 10 fighters. He hasn't. He hasn't. He has not been in there with them dudes. He has never looked to be in there with them. Joshua is a dude who will go through the gauntlet and risk embarrassment and his livelihood and his stature in the division and his reputation and still say, fuck it, man, this is what we do. If I lose, I lose. It is what it is. Y'all will violate him once he does what it is that y'all are expecting of every other fighter to do except a specific demographic. He does that and he's chastised for it if he wins. Because he didn't knock him out in the first 30 seconds or the first few rounds, let alone if he loses or he lost to a fat Mexican. Never mind the circumstances. He went in there prematurely to get rid of somebody who wasn't ready to go, and he got punished for it. The other 3 rounds didn't matter. The fact that he was dropped for the first time in his career by this dude, that shit didn't matter. It was a non sequitur. Nobody wanted to talk about that. Nobody wanted to talk about that. He went there. He lost to a cruiserweight and goddamn, Usyk. All right, cool. Well, what's your excuse for Tyson Fury trying to do everything in his power not to go in there with that same cruiserweight? It just bothers me, man. And that this dude is real life in here. He's in a situation where they're questioning the loss of Francis Ngannou. How the fuck do we get here? How the fuck do we get here? How do you lose? How do you have a controversial win over a dude with no professional bouts as a fucking world champion? That shit, and nobody, I'm not saying nobody. I mean, the nigga was in there throwing fucking elbows, bro. And there's people really trying to argue that if that was a legitimate elbow, if it was by accident. You are a trained champion. You know how to throw a hook. You know how to throw a straight. You don't lead with the fucking elbow when you do that. Elbow is at 90 degrees. Your fist is right here so you can hook it and turn it over. The positioning of your elbow is going to put your fist on the trajectory of catching somebody in a scoring area. That is a hook. You know how to throw a hook, or you know how to throw a right hand. You know how to loop a shot. You know how to loop the backhand. You know how to do all this shit as a professional fighter, as a champion who has caught 4 belts, 2-time world champion. You know how to do this. And you throw an elbow. When people start committing fouls, hitting below the belt, hitting in the back of the head, throwing elbows, Diego Chavez, he would take the lace of the glove. That's what Brandon Rios was not crying about, but he was complaining about that when they fought years ago. He was in the clinch. He would take the lace of the laces on the gloves or whatever, and kind of like rub it up against his eyes and shit like that in the pocket, so the ref can't see it. That's a sign of frustration. What you're trying to do to this man is not having an effect on him. The game plan that you had drawn up for this dude is not it's not as effective as you figured it would have been. And you have no other way around it. You have no other way around it. He's frustrating you. He's hitting you more than you expected you to hit him, and he's not getting hit as much as you expected to hit him. So you commit fouls to make up for your inability to get a shot off, a proper shot off, clean and comfortably and concise. So now you want to start throwing elbows, bro. That is terrible. That is terrible. I'm not mad at the hitting and clinching. I'm not mad at that. Klitschko did that, and he did it very much so effectively. I'm not mad at it. That's a tactic. That's a tactic. And if the ref doesn't call you for it, then hey, you got to find a way around it. So I'm not mad at the hitting and the clinching. That that just is what it is. But don't sit up here and get to throwing elbows and all. Why are you throwing elbows at a fucking mixed martial artist? At this point, there should be nobody defending this dude. He may very well go in there and beat Usyk in the rematch and fuck around and beat Joshua if when they fight, because that's too big of a fight for them not to have. He may very much so do that shit. I won't give a fuck because you still can't erase what the fuck happened against Ngannou. You can't erase that stain off of your J. That's forever gonna be attached to you now. And I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened. Get that man meat out the palm of y'all hands, Brody. He not whatever it is y'all think he's not, bro. He's not. He is not that. He is not that. Kill all that bullshit. Tyson Fury will beat Ali and Tyson and all. No, he won't. He won't. The only way he can prove that is if he goes in there and he beats Usyk. But no fighter that he has beat is saying that, outside of Klitschko, no fighter he has beat, no fighter he has beat outside of Klitschko is saying that this dude can beat anybody in boxing history in heavyweight. Nobody he has beat, nobody. Do not tell me Deontay Wilder. Don't tell me he can beat, no, bro. No, fuck no. Don't tell me he can beat a Trevor Berbick. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me he can beat Leon Spinks. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to shut it down. Prove it. How? Based on what? You got a goddamn mixed martial artist going in there and giving you the blues. You elbowing and all that. Off of Mick, bro. Listen, man. Stop with the gas of this dude. Stop gassing him. That's all I'm saying. Good fighter, but to the degree which y'all niggas is trying to prove to make him out to be, he's not that. He's not. He never has been, and he never will be, if you ask me. He never will be. So I'm glad that happened to him. Now y'all can get off Anthony Joshua dick and get that man his flowers for fighting all the fights that he's been fighting in. Consistent, steady, high caliber competition. That's all I gotta say about it, man. I'm going to the store so I can go watch the Colors of the Flower Moon, man. I'll get with y'all later. Y'all be easy. Deuces.